Well, this episode was certainly something special. It didn't make logical sense, but all in all, it was super fun to watch, so let's talk all about it. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're here to talk about episode 67 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's anime series. And what a way to end the fifth arc within this series. Admittedly, there was a lot of predictable moments within the episode. However, all of the elements presented within it helped to create a lively and positive, fun, entertaining episode to watch. So, the first real positive thing I want to talk about within this review is the character of Yuga. Throughout this episode, he continued to be this amazing antagonist with all of his facial expressions and actions. Taunting Yuga and friends when Yuga had to draw fusions, saying that Yuga's chances are 0. It's impossible. Even the reaction that Yuga gave when learning about the rule 6666 of section 6, that was priceless. And on that topic, why is there a rule that states that the duel must go on, even if, by some force of nature, the deck of the duelist changes? Who foresaw that? Sticking with Yuo though, this guy was willing to go against the rules of the agreement or tournament or whatever you want to call it that they had going on between Team Yuga and the Goha siblings, threatening to just destroy Rush Robot anyways. However, even after losing, he was ultimately brought down by the fearsome combination of Kaizo returning and Roman's pink curry. Now that was an explosion of flavour. Now, one thing that made this episode really crazy but also really enjoyable was seeing all of the characters dress up for this duel. I thought that was amazing, as it adds another layer of liveliness and makes everything feel more fun and engaging. It's boring when you have side characters just stood there making a few references and calls throughout the duel, commentating and not really doing anything themselves or being engaging. But we had the characters dress up and it offered a bit more of a spark. Roman looked really cute in her outfit. Gakuto being a professor was really cool, but why does he have massive chopsticks hanging from his shirt? I thought that was a Menzaburo thing. Asana and the Machine Cavalry Club even got involved and played along with it. Tiger looked menacing, plus they got the Goha siblings involved as well. Even Yuo wore a costume to start with. And the siblings had goofy star-like outfits, but played the roles of villains, giving our heroes the choice: continue the duel or Roman dies. Wasn't quite that serious, but still, it goes into the context of things and gives a bit more insight into the Lukeman's personality. Obviously, he's a hero for justice, and he fell for that, so he carried on dueling with all of his might. And of course, Yuga wanted to continue dueling, so he was happy to comply and go with the flow. Now, admittedly, I wasn't a fan of Mimi and Swirly's outfits respectively. Their outfits was a bit of a letdown. However, they redeemed themselves within this episode with that comedy segment that left me laughing and feeling like an attack on the fanbase, as Mimi was super confident, saying that she knows who the sixth sibling is. The sixth sibling is, of course, Swirly. No, he's not, thankfully, but that did give me a bit of a chuckle, so I'm glad they included that. Plus, it does remind us and keep the mystery of who is the sixth sibling. Hopefully we find out in the next arc. Now, before we talk about the duel, I want to talk about the meteorite scene that we get given within this episode, because Yuga gets hit by a meteorite, and that, you could say, was foreshadowed way back in episode 53. Yuga had a dream of the world coming to an end at the hand of a meteorite raining down upon Goha City, before Rush Robot stepped in and saved the day, basically saying that Rush Duels is going to save the future. But now, in this episode, episode 67, Rush Duels actually does survive, and so does the Rush Robot. Because if you look at it, within that dream sequence, we got the world coming to an end. And you could reflect that and basically say that the world coming to an end in that dream reflects Rush Robot being destroyed. And And obviously within that dream we had the Rush robot save the day with the power of Rush Duels, which obviously reflects Yuga saving the day here, being the hero that he's dressed up as when he's the Yugaman, and saving all with Rush Duels. Now that might be a bit confusing and a massive stretch, but hopefully you understood what I said there, and I thought it was a cool idea, so I wanted to include it. Now then, as for the duel itself, I found it really entertaining. Now, just because we as the viewer knew that Yuga was going to draw fusions in that segment, or that he was going to get an Earth attribute monster when he needed it the most, so he can gain enough attack points and win, does not make the duel any less fun. The duel itself was really enjoyable, and I liked that even if it was predictable in some moments. Throughout the many shows of Yu-Gi-Oh! That we've seen countless protagonists draw the one card that they need desperately. I'm looking mostly at Playmaker and Storm Access here, as that was the load of BS that we got to see a lot of, and that's only one example out of a pool of many. And yes, sometimes it can be a bit boring when we know what's going to happen, when we know the direction that a duel is going to end in. But I think the way that they did it and the way the Sevens has handled things, I thought was decent, as the elements surrounding the different scenes helped to make things more impactful and more lively and more meaningful. Yuga took a hit by a meteorite. He had it head on towards him. And although that should have killed him, like it really should have, it was nice to see that he too at least got a bit of damage to his outfit when the impact struck. And you know what? That was a big scene. I quite like that. It had me going, whoa! I got lost in the moment. Let's just call it that. Now, throughout the second part of this duel, what we got to see within this episode, we had some really fun, interesting, awesome new cards get used. We had the Lukeman using a Road Crusher, a trap card that is basically a anti-7th Road Magician card, because it can return all of Yuga's monsters from his graveyard back into the deck. Of course, 7th Road can't use his Elemental Road skill, and I thought that was awesome. We also got the Fusion Dragon monster, or High Dragon I think it might have been, in Umbra Lancer F. That monster has a crazy cool design, and the skill was just insane. It's certainly a monster I would love to use when Rush Duels comes to the UK, and yeah, I'll be looking to try and pull that one. As for Yuga using his Sevens Paladin, a new monster type came with that fusion summoning called Magical Knight. This fusion was just okay in my opinion. I thought as fusions go, it was quite cool. Wasn't as cool as the Lukeman doing fusions the first time, or Yuo using fusions for the first time. It didn't have that big of an impact on me personally, as I'm not the biggest fan of the 7th Road Magician's design, and this monster does heavily resemble that design. Plus, when I first saw this monster in anime form, I kind of went, oh, that kind of looks like an elephant with a flaming Mohican, as we have the cape looking like the ears of an elephant, and the front draping cloth is like the elephant's trunk. Might have been a bit sleep deprived when I made that comment, but I stand by it. With that being said, however, I am a big fan of fusion monsters that resemble the original materials used to create that particular fusion monster. So, in regards to the Dragears F and 7's Paladin, I can respect their designs from that perspective. So, it's not a terrible design with 7's Paladin, but it's not something I would like to use. Yuga winning this duel I thought was the right choice, as ultimately it saves rush dueling and doesn't harm any character involved. The Lukeman remained strong in this process, as Yuga needed outside interference to help him win. Plus he needed chance and luck, which obviously goes into every duelist when they duel, but for example, had the Meteorite been a little bit too early or a little bit too late, then the chances of Yuga drawing fusions drastically changes, meaning that he most likely would have lost that duel had the Meteorite been like 10 minutes behind schedule. Now, one really positive thing that follows after this duel concludes is the Lukeman's exit. I like the fact that the Lukeman did not just disappear and disintegrate into nothing once he lost. Instead, he returned Luke and remains alive, returning to his little location in space for whenever our heroes need to call upon him once again. And I do feel like that if Sevens goes on for quite a bit longer, the Lukeman could return in the future, possibly to face an antagonist later on down the line and make that antagonist look super strong. Real quick, I do want to talk about the opening, as I like seeing the Lukeman now appearing where the shadowy figure once took up the screen. As well as the fact is, I think it's safe to say that the blue and yellow lightning that we see within the opening is for Lukeman's new dragon fusion that he used within this episode. I do think though this edition was really cool and I like the fact they've done it, and I do have this feeling that it's going to be swapped out for the next antagonist once they are revealed in the future. The Goha siblings look to be sticking around, which is fun, so they can remain within the opening as well. But at the same time, we might not get a new opening, we might just get visuals switched out, much like how we got the scene with Yuga at the bottom and, you know, Asana, Roa, Nail, and then Otis at the top. We might get, you know, a swap of scenes that way. Take the Lukeman out, put the new antagonist in. But yeah, addition was cool. Now then, the final topic I want to talk about within this video is Yuga. This guy is just way too kind for his own good, but we kind of expected that already. After winning this duel and saving Rush Duels, Yuga states that he will join Goha, even though he has no reason to join them. Because of course the conditions for losing against the Goha siblings was that he had to join. But Team Yuga won, so why does he want to join them? Well, I think one possibility could be because Yuga has seen through Yuo's behaviour and actions, understanding what lies deep within Yuo's heart. It has nothing to do with power or wanting to be the strongest. Personally, I think that Yuo just wants to have a friend of similar age. Think about it, Yuo has always been surrounded by his siblings who are older than him, and has always been in a position of power. So in that regard, making friends can be quite hard, as well as the fact is with his siblings, it would have been even more difficult to establish a bond of equalness because of them being older than he is. So Yuga joining Goha would give Yuo someone who is of similar age around that Yuo can build a connection with. As for Yuo's actions in wanting to be the only one atop of Goha and kicking the other siblings out, well, that could stem from his feelings of feeling like he's underneath his older siblings, as they would hold superiority over him thanks to the difference in age. Honestly, that's just a guess on my opinion, but he was kind of interacting with Luke a little bit differently than what we thought it would be when they had their interaction. Plus, Yuga seems to be smiling at Yuo when he says he'll join, so it's obvious that Yuga has a plan or has an idea that he wants to put in motion. Now, of course, another possibility could be that Yuga has some unfinished business with a former Goha employee. That's right, I'm bringing up that age-old name of Otis. Or maybe the rest of the book could be found within Goha's possession. Remember that book we saw in episode 60? Well, he might want some of those extra pages that were torn out. Either way, I hope we get some slice of life comedy moments with Yuga trying to help out the other siblings. Maybe Yuga can create a road for each one. A batting or pitching arm for Yuga, a fishing rod for Yujin, a new dual racer for Yuro, and so on and so on. Now overall, I really love this episode. I thought it was a great way to end off this arc. It was crazy, illogical, but super fun and entertaining from start to finish. Nevertheless though, what awaits us in the 6th arc of Sevens, I can't wait to see. And hopefully we'll get more focus on the 6th sibling and some other unanswered questions as we move forward. It's nice to see that we are also getting some focus on Yuo, and Roman remains in her beauty Roman outfit in the next episode, so that should be pretty nice in of itself. Apart from that though, I do hope you've enjoyed this review. Make sure you leave your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. And of course, I hope you have an amazing day. Like, comment and subscribe. Have a good time. Alligator, Martinet. Goodbye.